Hi everyone. I just wanted to make this video because it's a whole lot easier than what I was trying to type, to talk about incentive pay and what incentive pay means and what it may mean and what it doesn't necessarily mean. So first of all, incentive pay 1, which is what we've had for a while now. Incentive pay 1 is a flat $10 an hour when you work. So that's whatever you would have gotten paid. It's basically a different way of giving you $120 is what it really boils down to. The question that has come up a lot is incentive pay 2. So incentive pay 2 is very hard to explain. And me and the other managers and our director Nancy and HR and all of us, Kelly Halsey, everybody I know has been working on a way to explain incentive pay 2 and to communicate to you what that means, because we approved it and we were giving out incentive pay 2, but we don't have a good way to explain it, and it's not a good way to understand how to calculate it. So between those two things together, it seems like we're not being transparent. And we've spent so much time in the last 2 weeks as a leadership group trying to figure out an easier way to explain incentive pay 2 that we feel we're not being transparent because we want to be transparent and we can't articulate that. So I'm just going to tell you what I know, and it's not honest truth, and you can't pay your bills with what I'm going to tell you, but I'm going to try to explain what little bit I can about incentive pay 2. So incentive pay 2 is time and a half. That's the short answer. Now I know you're going to say, well, if I work 4 shifts, I'm going to get incentive. I'm going to get time and a half after 40 hours anyway, which is completely correct. This time and a half is a little bit different, is a weighted average time and a half. So if I will send out in an email that this is attached to also how to calculate overtime pay, because I know a lot of people don't understand how to calculate overtime pay, and it's not very clear. So incentive pay 2 is based on time and a half of your weighted average, your weighted pay average. So that might be, say you work a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So you're going to get paid for 12 hours, and then you're going to get any shift differentials. That includes, for day shift, that includes from 3 to 7, and night shift differential from 7 to 11 and 11 to 7. It also is going to, so let's just leave it at that. So you add up all those kooky numbers and come up with an average that gives you your weighted average. And that is time and a half on this weighted average, which is probably more than your base rate. It should be more than your base rate. The problem is that's not very easily to explain, because if you work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, then you also have weekend differentials in there. And that weekend differential is added in as a weighted total, and it comes up with a weighted hourly rate. And that's what you get time and a half. So if you work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and you work Wednesday, your calculated weighted average of pay is going to be higher, and so you're going to get more per hour. The question has been brought to me, does that include charge pay? I think. Does that include preceptor pay? No idea one way or the other. So mainly certification, don't know. So I would like to tell you that it's this much times this much, and you can calculate that. It's different on every employee based on what they make. It's different on, even for that employee, it's different every week based on what they've already worked. I think it pays differently on earlier in the week versus later in the week. If it's your first shift versus your fourth shift, your first shift is probably going to be closer to just time and a half, and but if it's your fourth shift of the week and you've already worked 3, then it should be higher than time and a half, because you have some weighted average changes in there. So all of this is to say, I don't know what it is. And I know that sounds real hokey, and HR, it basically says it's time and a half, but it's not exactly time and a half. And so I wanted to be very honest to say, this is what incentive pay 2 is. Basically, no one knows. So I'm going to attach in this email calculation for the Department of Labor website. I found a Department of Labor calculator to help you calculate this rate, but I don't know if that's correct either. I looked for iPhone apps to try to see if we could, because I want to be completely honest and give you the tools to decide if you want to pick up an extra shift or not. And unfortunately, I don't have those tools, and nobody else seems to have those tools either. HR promises us that y'all are getting paid correctly, but I don't feel comfortable in saying, hey, you're getting paid correctly, and then you say, how do I know that? And I'm going to have to say, no idea. Can't tell you at all. So I don't know what else to say past that. I know that doesn't clear up literally anything for anybody. What I would suggest is if you've worked an IP2 shift, maybe if you can help figure that out for someone else, but that's just going to be based on what you worked that particular week and that pay. There is some question that it's $18 an hour. That is incentive pay 3, which we used to have. That's not even an option anymore. I can't even go in Kronos and pick that anymore. It's gone completely. It's not even in the policy or anything. So I think that all of us, myself included, may have communicated that $18 an hour on top of, and plus your time and a half and all that good jazz. $18 an hour is not actually correct. So it's time and a half. Now, it may end up being closer to that if you work some weekend and night shifts and kind of have your average hourly rate's a little bit higher than everybody else's. But unfortunately, I know that this did not really clear up literally anything for you, but I just wanted to be honest and say, I don't know. HR can't explain it. None of the other managers. Our director, Nancy Laster, is obsessed because she's obsessed with how to communicate and how we're paying people, because don't mess with people's money, don't I know. And unfortunately, we've been talking about this, I probably talk about this an hour a day for the last 3 weeks, and at the end of the day, I still don't have an answer to give you. So here's my answer. I don't have a good answer. I'm sorry, I wish I did, but I don't, and I'm as frustrated, I'm probably more frustrated than you are trying to understand what it is, because I wanted to be able to communicate that effectively. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask me. You can always call the HR Service Center. Their number is 678-503-1900, and they can help you decipher your paycheck after you get it and try to help you understand some of that. But unfortunately, that's kind of all I got. Thanks.